Todd, right off the bat, my man.
What's up?
Anything you want to say anything you want to say or rebut that Vince just said? Because I know you were sitting there in the back.
Nah, I
No?
agree with everything, man. You know what? Vince has the most discipline right next to the chief of anyone in that show of that season 3. He has the most discipline of anyone there, man. He works out twice a day. I'm pretty sure he's been training for this for years. Hats off to him. He beat me straight out of just because of discipline, and it lights a fire under me to get some discipline. Go out there.
Yeah.
Next time, it's gonna be nicer.
Awesome, man. I mean, talk to me, dude. Like, you have such a chill, laid back attitude, carefree. Looks like you're loving life every single moment. Like, is that
Yes,
just
sir.
a facade? Like, how bad do you want this? Like, on a scale of like having fun and like actually want this, like, where is that meter at?
You know what? I took that with a month's notice. I hadn't trained. I hadn't been in the gym in 2 years. I hadn't trained martial arts in 4 years. I got the call and I was like, heck yeah, I'll do it. So when I went into the show, I went in with the fun, like, I've never been dropped. I've knocked out everyone ever fought. Let's see how it goes. I'm drinking, I'm smoking. But you know what? Looking back on it now, I actually have the drive and I have the desire to actually really be good at it. I did it as more of like a fun little thing. And now I'm actually really about it. So, I just actually got back in the gym. I finally healed up my body. I was doing some physical therapy. And I'm ready to go, man. So next fight is going to be a lot cleaner. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I mean, that first strike from Vince, the ref came over, he had talked about that roll, clearly got hit high. Was there any sustained injury there longer term? And I mean, like, dude, how'd that feel?
Well, the first hit wasn't that bad, man. You know what? Like he was talking about my defense. So it's not a flinch if you go with it after the strike. So there's this guy Archer. He goes before it, right? It's obviously a flinch. I'm staying hard, but I'm going with the blows to not absorb as much of it as possible, So I'm absorbing it, but I'm just letting it move me. So he called it to me on that. I watched it back and I didn't move before the strike, so it's not a flinch. But I was worried about it. Didn't really hurt as bad. It was the second hit that really hit me, because I sit there and I absorbed all of it because I was scared of a flinch. And that was 100% the hardest I've ever been hit in my life. I got concussed after that one. Obviously, you could see from my next 2 strikes, I really didn't have my feet placement there. I really thought I was going to get knocked out on the third one 100%, man. I'm surprised I did it.
Crazy.
I was not there.
I mean, that first and that third strike from Vince looked very, very similar. From my perspective, the way that it hit, it was slightly higher. The trajectory of his arm. That second one for sure was definitely, the most impact and damage. And, you kind of had that comment too, like, oh, like that, that was a good one. So I thought that all that was quite interesting. But talk to me, man. You pull out that, soul slicer in round 1. Like,
yeah, man.
Did you think he was getting up?
Huh? Sorry,
Did you think he was getting up?
I thought so. The way he was composed on the ground, I knew if they called it, it would have been a shame. So I thought he was going to get up. I never lose the ability or the thought of my opponent's going to hit me again until they call it. Because if you go from hot to cold to hot, you're losing a lot of energy. You're losing a lot of power. I knew he was going to get up, and I was just ready to take the next one. And you know what? He got it perfect, right on the fucking money. The difference, like you said, between the first shot, the third shot, and the second shot, which really got me, was just placement. He got me right on the jaw. The other 2 were a little high. He got me more on the temple. I don't think there were clubs. 100% I clubbed him. I felt it immediately. And yeah, it's just a testament to his discipline, how much he trained. I threw maybe 20 slaps in the air before I got to the show. I think Vince has thrown maybe 10,000 of those. It's every strike is the exact same. He's a technician, man. He's a real technician. He's a real tough guy, and he's gonna be a killer for that welterweight class.
Yeah, I mean, I love hearing the respect, and I got to give you props. You pulled all the way back, man. OG Carice Archer from season 1. The game changer. Not a lot of guys know him, so you're obviously studying, man. You're taking it more serious than your attitude.
I am. I've watched every fight now. Before I got into Power Slap, I watched maybe 2 fights, just 2 clips from TikTok. Never seen it. I was just like, I could do this. Now I've watched every single fight. Studied everyone's technique, and I'm starting to train, and I'm gonna be a problem. I'm gonna be a real problem.
Yeah, Sting, over to you, my man.
Rod, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna wish you congratulations because I think you had a great fight. Number one, I said it when you were backstage, and I'll say it again. Your mistake was the foul in round 2. That was what made it so you really couldn't come back from whatever happened in round 2. because just based on the way the scoring works, you were down 2 points in round 2, but you were only up 1 point in round 1, so you then became down. You were going into the next round behind already, which usually doesn't happen in the second round if you gave up one and you won one. So, obviously it's just something for you in the future to think about. If you know, hey, look, I'm probably losing this round, you don't have to hit them with everything. Just
I tried. Hey, I had a
There's a
question,
lot
man.
of-
If you down him, isn't it a 10-8? That's how it is in boxing, right?
if he drops, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be a 10-8.
So I would be even going into the round 3, no, because I clubbed him. I lost the
That's a
round.
good point. That's a good
right?
point. Yeah, and that's the issue.
That's what I was thinking. I was
That's
trying to knock
kind
him
of
out
where
every hit.
that's kind of where I was a little disappointed that they didn't read the scores out, because I wanted to know kind of where that landed and how he got the decision.
Yeah.
But you
I
bring up
thought it
a
was going to
valid
be
point.
unanimous to Vince, honestly. I thought it was going to be straight unanimous. When I heard split decision, I was a bit surprised. Obviously I'm not all there. I'm concussed. But when they said split decision, I was pretty surprised. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I saw you do like an inch, and you did it in your first fight when you hurt your shoulder. You kind of did it again, I think, in round 3, where you kind of like went like this after the strike. It was very subtle. Was there any? Am I missing? Did I see that correctly? Like, did you hurt yourself again in some
You got
way?
good eyes, man. Well, dude, I tore my rotator cuff on that first fight, so I was going into it injured.
Oh, that's right.
Obviously, we're all sick. Everyone was sick, but obviously, the injury didn't help me. But you know what? When the adrenaline pumps, when I accepted that fight, it was a 20-minute notice, man. And I thought, if I accept this, I'm probably gonna get knocked out, man. I'm coughing in the back. I'd thrown up earlier that day. And I looked at Vince and I just saw all his training that he'd put in. And I looked in his eyes and he's like, "Do you want to take it?" And I saw him and I was like, I thought I was going to get knocked out if I took it, and I accepted it. And as soon as I accepted, I swear on my mother's life, I'm not a religious person, I felt a golden light, like God, wash over me. I didn't feel my shoulder anymore. I didn't feel my sickness anymore. And I went out there to try to kill him, And man, I did not feel that shoulder until that hit. But yeah, you know what? When the adrenaline is pumping, it's just pain, It's nothing. My shoulder's pretty much healed at this point, so I'll be back.
Yeah, is any part of you concerned that, like, as time goes on, obviously the first experience that you have in slap, you tear your rotator cuff. Is any part of you worried that this might be a problem, as time goes on?
Well, dude, I hadn't been in the gym in 2 years. I hadn't trained martial arts in 4 years. I came straight cold into it. Now I'm actually training. I'm strengthening the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles, and I'm confident it won't happen again, So it's just a matter of how much work you put in and conditioning your body to strike a human skull at 100%,
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, you talked about it a little bit a minute ago, kind of rolling and absorbing the strike and letting it kind of move you. You're one of those people that even though you take the strike well, particularly round 1 and round 3, obviously round 2 was a weird one because you actually were shaken by that hit. But round 1 and round 3, you seem like you absorbed it really well, but you turn a lot more than probably most people that I've seen when they absorb a strike and they're not hurt by any means as far as they look. Is that something that you think, because optically it almost looks like it does more to you than it actually does because you move so much. Your feet don't move, but your body turns. And I can, if you don't know what I mean, we can play the video. I can kind of show you.
Sure. I mean, I know exactly. I did it on purpose. It was a technique.
Okay. So you do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was all on purpose.
Okay. And so you in hindsight, you think that that's something that you'll continue to do. You don't.
I lost audio from you guys.
Uh-oh.
All right. You guys are back, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So let me just roll this again. So is that something that you think you'll continue to do as time goes on?
Man, it's something that's so hard to actually do if you know how to do it. It's down to milliseconds, man. Like I was talking about Archer, he did it way too early. You get called for a flinch, you're gonna get hit again.
Yeah,
it's down to 10 milliseconds, maybe, So as soon as I feel that hit actually hit my jaw, I'm going with it. If you can do, in my opinion, if you can do it, it should be a part of defense. If you can't do it, you're gonna take a lot more damage. Obviously, optically, it looks worse for the judges, but I don't give a fuck about the judges. I'm trying to knock my opponent out, and I'm trying to take as least amount of damage as possible to the point within the rules. If they change the rules, I'll stop doing it. But I think I'm gonna maintain my game. It definitely helps if you're thinking about longevity, taking hard ass strikes all day, man. You can't do this for years and years if you're taking the full force. I'm so tough. You have to go with it. You have to kind of go with it, just let it throw you, make the strike a push. That's how I think about it. And turning your body is how you do that, go with it.
Listen, it's a very unique strategy, and I appreciate that you're able to walk us through it, because I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it that way. But it makes sense when you say your goal is to put your opponent out. You don't really want to hear from the judges. So I totally understand that perspective. I don't know if you noticed this, but I think it was strike number 3 as you were getting into the box. Dana said that you were too close, and Frank looked like he kind of agreed with you. Agreed with him. Do you, in hindsight, think you were too close during that strike?
Yeah, well, after the second hit, so he hits me the second time. Now it's my turn to go the second time. His second hit on me concussed me, man. So I lost all my training of, I gotta step back after I get my measure, and because I lost that, I was too close. Like they said, I was way too close. My first fight against Tyler, the first hit I was too close, and I got back when I touched his jaw. I got back a half step, like you said. And I think Trujillo even told me that, but dude, I don't even remember him telling me that. Man, I was not there. So it just was a testament to how hard Vince hit me. It was the hardest I've ever been hit in my life. I've been hit by 300-pound fools before, man. That was the hardest I've ever been hit in my life, 100%. And so I was just not all there, and I couldn't think of my technique in the moment, which goes back to repetition, discipline, training. Didn't train for it, got what's coming to me. That's just how it is.
Man, your perspective is incredible. I love just how raw and real you are about kind of where you're at, and you accept what it is. It's something that we rarely see. So hats off to you. And I'm sure, just like me, a lot of people admire it. Final thing, obviously you lose, right? But I don't think your stock drops from a fight like that, and that's rare. Just given your performance, and then again, I think there's some things that you can sort of tune up, and you'll be right back out there. Do you have your eye on anybody? Is there anyone that you kind of see as a person that can get you back, kind of right back to the road that you would be on if you would have gotten that win in round number 2?
I'm down to fight King Kong, bro. I'll fight anyone in the welterweight class. I just ask that they're ranked. And if I'm ranked in the top 10 after this, I just ask that they're ranked above me. You know what? But I'll fight anyone. I'll fight Joe Blow. I'll fight Blackburn. I'll fight Muniz. I'll fight anyone, bro. I'm confident with the training that I'm doing now that I'm going to be a real menace. If I could come off the couch and do what I did in those 2 fights, imagine when I actually start training for this. I did 0 training. Nothing. No cardio. Haven't ran a mile in 4 years. Haven't done nothing. So if this is just from my natural ability, imagine what happens when I actually start training, and give me a couple months and I'll take out the best of them.
Incredible, man. Court, anything?
Awesome, man. Yeah, just appreciate you joining us always. Great insight. Great conversation as always. Can you give us any insight of what happened to Waylon Frost and or the other competitor that dropped out? Like, do you have any background you can add to the context?
Sure. I don't want to speak for other people, but obviously, like they said in the show, they weren't medically cleared. So Waylon had it probably the worst out of anyone in the house. The sickness, I'm sure you've heard of it before. There's a lot of us that were sick. Vince was sick a few days before me. He's my roommate, so I'm trying to sit in the corner of the room. Waylon had it pretty bad to the point where they had to put him in a different in like an apartment or something, or a different house, just to separate him from us. And with 20 minutes left, I'm in the locker room ready for our fight. Frank comes out. He's like, dude, you didn't get medically cleared. I'm sorry. Me, I'm sitting there. I'm pretty sick too. I was like, well, you know what? I don't question God. It's not meant to be. Another 10, 15 minutes go by, and he comes back and gets Vince. He's like, Neil dropped out, man. He didn't get medically cleared. Now Vince is down bad. And then another 10 minutes go by, and he brings us to the back. We accept the fight on like a 20-minute notice, and they made us the main event. That's really what happened. But I wanted Waylon, and you know what? To go back to your last question, I'd like Waylon next, honestly, because when I look in Waylon's eyes, I see a lion, man. I see a tough fight. He's a tough motherfucker. Don't let the 2-3 record fool you, man. That fool's a demon. So if I could pick anyone out of the welterweight class, I'd pick Waylon to fight next.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you as always. Much love and respect. You have a home here, as we said, for Vince. And can't wait to see you next time, man, because you're certainly entertaining.
Appreciate you guys, man. Love you guys. You
Awesome.
guys have a good night.